All right, we'll take you back to that funeral service as time goes on. But of course, let's go to this particular story now with the EFF. You would have seen earlier launching its election manifesto ahead of the 2026 local government elections and celebrating 13 years since the party's establishment at the Thohoyandou Stadium in Limpopo. Well, the event will see the party leader Julius Malema delivering a keynote address there. Let's take you live to SABC News anchor Tulasizo Simelane, who is one of our colleagues on the ground for us there. Tulas, good morning to you. Thanks indeed for your time. It's quite an important moment for the EFF in terms of reflection, how far the party has come since its establishment. And I guess there'll be quite a lot that will come from the party president about the direction in which the EFF is heading.
Absolutely, Griselda. Two things are by design and not by default about today. The date on which this event is taking place, the manifesto launch of the EFF being today, the 25th of July, just a day before the EFF turns 13, the 26th July movement. That is by design. It is about harking back to the founding principles and ideals of the economic freedom fighters. As you know, they are sometimes called the 26th July movement, and it is for a reason. It's getting a bit loud, Griselda, so I'll try and speak at the top of my voice. But the second other factor that is by design, it is the place where this manifesto is being launched, which is in Thohoyandou being part of the Bembe district in Limpopo, it being one of the regions where the EFF believes it did not perform as well as it could have at the last local government elections. So in line with that, the EFF has dubbed this year the year of victory or death. You see it everywhere across the stadium, Griselda, the year of victory or death. And in fact, some of the leaders are clad in T-shirts that have that message that says 2026 is the year of victory or death. Why do they say that? The key fear for the EFF is stagnation. Stagnation, Griselda, is the word that concerns the EFF. In fact, you hear it in the message of the party leader, Julius Malema, in a foreword to an internal discussion document that talks about the 2026 local government elections. In it, he makes it clear that the party cannot afford stagnation in 2026 and goes on to say that if they stagnate and fail to grow, it would mean that the movement for economic emancipation would be starting to falter since it was founded 13 years ago. So if they think that the ANC will roll over and play dead in this key battleground, clearly key battleground region, well, they would be sadly mistaken. Not far from where we are, Griselda, at the Thohoyandou Stadium, the ANC deciding that they were also going to stage their own rally. So in a way, it becomes a bit of a counter rally. It is a provincial rally of the ANC taking place not far from here, and it didn't go unnoticed by the EFF leadership. So it just tells you that it's going to be quite the contest between now and the 4th of November, when we will have the local government elections. As far as what we expect from the EFF, as far as the manifesto is concerned, they are talking a great deal about governance. What the contents of that are, we will find out when the EFF leader, Julius Malema, delivers his message. You can expect them to keep true to some of their commitments around promises of land, right? Particularly land in the hands of local government. You can expect them to say something about that. Of course, the issues around 24-hour local clinics is another issue that the EFF has campaigned greatly around. But a key message we'll be watching will be how the EFF leader responds to national controversies, issues that, perhaps would threaten to bring drag to the EFF in these elections. His own issues, as far as the law is concerned, he was sentenced on those gun-related charges, a sentence that he is appealing. There's the issue of migration. It is a national issue, but perhaps it is not unthinkable that some voters will have it foremost in their minds as they go to these elections. And of course, you will have heard the revelations coming out of the Madlanga Commission regarding Malema himself and relationships with people such as Firoz Khan and others, as well as the issues around the tenders in Tshwane. You can expect that he may address those issues and see how they weigh in on their campaign. So that's how it's looking. The stadium is starting to fill up. If we show you in the backdrop there, the grandstand starting to fill up nicely. The sound checks are being done. Let me take you to the other side of the stadium where my colleague Lutendo Popodi is on standby to pick up coverage and also talk about the dynamics of the EFF in Limpopo, Griselda, because the last time there was a local government election, the EFF grew and performed well, but it wasn't satisfied with its performance in Limpopo, with the result that there was, in a political manner of speaking, there was blood on the floor. The EFF deciding to disband the leadership of the EFF, but it's since been restored, and Lutendo will pick up the conversation and talk to those dynamics. Lutendo?
Well, thank you so much, Julius. You can attest now, members here and members of the public are now coming in, streaming in drips and drabs. And I just want to give you a sense, Griselda, of how they're coming through. You can see the grandstand here is now full. Earlier on, they were just trickling in. Now they are filling up the grandstand. They're occupying this grandstand. And also the southern stand of the stadium, of Thohoyandou Stadium. You can see the southern end of the stadium also members occupying that, and of course also the other one that we'll show you a little bit later on. What you are seeing now is the southern stand of the stadium, and you can see members coming through. You can see people in EFF regalia coming through, using the other entrance over there, and the other entrance in the eastern entrance coming through to occupy both these stands, but also the eastern stand that I will show you a little bit later on. But for now, I'm going to be calling here EFF provincial leader Lawrence Mapoulo, who will join me just to talk about this particular event. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm sorry I made you wait. Thank you so much for your patience. Well, let's talk about maybe the elephant in the room first.
Okay.
Why did you bring this particular rally here in Thohoyandou?
I think for you to raise that question is because, you know, we are the first who came and booked this stadium. And those that have came later, you can see that they are reacting. They are no longer, you know, trying to push their programs. They are reacting to the program of the EFF. But the people of Vhembe love the EFF, no doubt about it. And I think what they're hiding, the infrastructure in this area is collapsing. When you get in, the sewer is smelling all over. For instance, where they are having the event, they just made other people to leave that space. Remember, they came into Lamela, went to the chief's place, demolished houses of people on the land that belongs to the chief. Now, those people went to that stadium where they are now. Now they've chased out those people again from that stadium. We don't know where are those people. Now the trauma and the abuse that this government is doing to our people, the only hope for them is the EFF. The reason you see us here is because the president wants to come and embrace the people of Vhembe because of this abuse and victimization by Popular Matuba.
Yeah. And ruffling through your manifesto, it's self-critical, it's self-introspective, and you're saying you need to do better. But in the province, previously, 2021, you achieved 16.81%. What do you expect this time around?
You see, there's a new sheriff in the house in Limpopo. That's myself. You are going to be amazed. The people have started to join in the masses. As I speak right now, we can't even cope with the volume of people who wants to come and attend this anniversary. They are all over the street of Thulamela. And therefore, what happened in 2021 will never happen in 2026. The majority of this municipality will be harmed. And what Thulamela is one of them.
Yeah.
People are tired about the ANC.
Thulamela, of course, the local municipality, but the district municipality is Vembe. And the issue of water has been an albatross for years.
Absolutely. You see, we're not going to talk about the current ANC corrupt government. Let's prepare ourselves that starting from November, at that level of the district, we're going to send men and women from the EFF who will be able to bring water to our people and make sure that unemployment comes to zero in this part of the province.
And how ready are the branches?
Our branches currently, as I speak, we are at 98%. Probably by tomorrow, all our branches will be at 100%. We've completed the phase of putting up structures. Now we're going to enter a space where we'll be campaigning.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Griselda. I'm gonna, just before I link to Samkela, I'm just gonna show you again that attendance. You can see, as I said a few minutes earlier, that people are coming through now, and people are now filling up this grandstand. And as we can see, the program director has been calling for order, but it has been very, in terms of order, law and order, that has been you observed throughout this morning. You can see now people coming in and taking their seats. But for now, I'm going to link to my colleague Samkela, who's standing by.
Well, Lutendo, indeed, the stadium is filling up here at Makwarela in Thohoyandou for the EFF's 13th anniversary. We are anticipating to speak to the Treasurer General of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Ompile Moato, to speak about the finances of the EFF going into this crucial election this year, noting that they have been dealt a severe blow in a number of provinces, particularly when it comes to party political funding from the IEC's perspective, that equitable share that they are meant to be getting from the IEC on the virtue of the seats that they have in the provincial legislatures across the country and the various municipalities, and noting that they also have faced some challenges, particularly coming from their 10th anniversary. They faced one of the most difficult moments of this July 26 movement. You'd also remember that going into the last provincial and national general election, the Economic Freedom Fighters did say that they had received a Christmas gift, particularly from the IEC. When they had said the ANC had requested some funds, they ended up waking up one morning and they received funds in their bank accounts. And that's when the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Julius Malema, said, let's query with the IEC what this money is for, and once we get a notification from the IEC, then we can adequately and equitably allocate these resources to the work of the organization. This 13th anniversary coincides with the manifesto launch for the local government elections. Some of the key priority areas for the Economic Freedom Fighters is particularly South Africa's water shortages. A number of municipalities are failing to provide water provision to their residents, and this area of Vembe District Municipality is no different. They've had their issues. You've got a water reticulation project that is currently ongoing within the area, 99.9 complete. I am seeing Mqinim Chakwe, who is the EFF's CCT member, who is on the other side. I am going to try and signal to get Mqinim Chakwe to go and come and speak to us, particularly around the preparations of this particular rally. Mzwandi Lembecha, our political editor, is just going to call Mqinim Chakwe, who is heading the safety and security and the logistics for the EFF for this particular rally, looking at the buses that are coming. How many buses are they anticipating? How many members and supporters are they of the Economic Freedom Fighters are they anticipating to be at this particular stadium? You did hear earlier on the Secretary General of the EFF, Marshal Dlamini, speaking that all seats in this particular stadium, the grandstand, all of it must be covered in order for the EFF to show their enemy that the organization is not dead. The organization is still alive. It's still kicking. All the members of the party will be coming out in their numbers to vote.
All right, we do apologise for our break in transmission there, but of course, at the EFF celebrations taking place, a number of my colleagues there will take you live back to the EFF celebration taking place in Thohoyandou. Of course, 13 years, a reflection on the journey of the economic freedom fighters thus far. And it'll be very interesting to hear what the EFF leader, Julius Malema, will have to say today about the party's journey, where it is going, and perhaps, as my colleagues also mentioned, perhaps to address some of the issues that are currently in the public domain. We'll hear, of course, from the EFF leader, Julius Malema, when he does take the podium. But that stadium, of course, filling up in Thohoyandou as the EFF supporters and party faithful take their seats in anticipation to hear what the party leader will say to them about the direction of the party. And of course, quite important that this is taking place now. You would know, of course, that we're heading towards very crucial local government elections in South Africa. The EFF will certainly take an opportunity to touch on those particular issues relating to the road to the local government elections and what the EFF has to offer. We're certainly likely to hear all of that from the EFF leader, Julius Malema.